Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Two Podcast, the official sponsor of Team USA Handball, coming in for 3 years to the Olympics near you. We're based out of D.C. We're putting a team together. The only rule is you have to be 40 or over, or 35?
35,
Okay.
Definitely, like, if you're balding, it helps. If you're overweight, it helps. If you have gray hair, it helps. So any of those things.
Okay.
Maybe like your job is you're a PE teacher, or like you work in IT, something like that. That's what I'm looking for, is that kind of crowd, yeah.
Oh, I want those guys to apply that wear the warm-up pants with the polo shirt combo.
Yes,
the polo shirt tucked into like the zip-up warm-up pants because they're a PE teacher.
Yeah, the Under Armour that like wear it as dress clothes, that kind of thing. Yeah,
100%. You're on the team. Yep. You're on the team. Ridiculous that Team USA doesn't have handball. We're fixing that for next year. Championed by our Captain Tony. Captain Tony, we do talk TV and movies here at Take Two Podcasts. And we're going to get into that for you today. We have 5 big reviews, guys. Suicide Squad, Val, Pray Away, Kevin Can F himself, and the boy behind the door. What's up, man? You ready?
Yeah, I'm good. Sad that the Olympics are over, truly. I kind of talked with Roy on the side this weekend. We actually got to see each other in real life, which was nice. And I was saying that I feel like I've been watching the Olympics like nonstop. Like anytime I'm not at work or sleeping, I'm like, what's going on? I don't even care what's on. Like I said, handball. I'm into it, whatever, Sure. So I am sad to see it go. However, we're going to get more in February because the winter's going to come right around. Yeah. Then we're getting a World Cup next year. Like, oh man, I'm just jazzed for all these like world athletic events. I can't wait.
The delay a year of the Olympics made it nice this snowing, because you're right, we go whoop right into winters. It was like, they're right away, so that made it even better. And then for you golf fans, we have the Ryder Cup also coming up in September, so more world versus each other. So I'm with you, buddy.
It is fun though to watch that. Like I just get so entrenched. Maybe it's just sports, whatever, but I get so entrenched in those stories. And like you said, the delay. It's like I like hearing the stories of the people who made it because it was delayed, kind of thing, or but then it's also like, well, what about the ones who maybe didn't do as well because it was delayed? We didn't really hear those stories. So maybe there's some people who are kind of left to the side. Like Lochte is a good example of that. He was really pushing to get back in, couldn't qualify, and maybe that extra year of age hurt him in the end, Sure. But then you got these skateboarders who are like 13 years old winning medals, and it's like maybe they wouldn't have made it last year because they would have been too young or whatever. Yeah. So kind of cool. And I had a blast watching the Olympics. It was really great. It makes me want to go to Tokyo. It looks like such a clean city, and I don't know, just fun. So
I'll leave you on that one. I'll agree with all the Olympic stuff, but yeah, sure.
You don't want to go to Tokyo?
I mean, it's down the list of international cities to visit. Not against it, but down the list. But you're right. I mean, they were talking about the soccer. A couple of the ladies, Rapinoe might have aged out. The softball, like a couple of the ladies, it was like, ugh, they were pushing that limit if they had happened last year. But I thought it was a good turn this year. We got a lot of fresh blood, like a lot of newer,
people to
younger.
Look forward to. Yeah, people to look forward to. That one 18-year-old track star, Moo or whatever her name is, I think, and it's like crazy. Nobody's really even talking about her, but it's like she could be competing for the next couple Olympics. So yeah, it's good to see stuff like that.
I like it a lot. Okay, let's rock into some movie and TV stuff. As we mentioned, we have 5 reviews. We have some pretty good trailers. We have a lot of news today, some important DC and Marvel stuff, some good casting as well. All of the segments that you guys know and love. There's an interesting box office we will chat about in a minute as well. Episode 252, folks. Don't forget to give us that rating and review if you don't mind. Hit us up on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram. You know the good stuff by now. And check your timestamps. I will tell you now that Suicide Squad we will speak freely upon. Val, it's kind of, that's whatever, that's not a spoiler thing. But if you need to skip around, check the timestamps down below so that you can do so. If you're ready, I'm ready, pal.
Yeah, I like that. Sponsored by Miss Minutes. We need to get her in here and just like pop up and be like, hey guys, it's time for them to talk about Suicide Squad.
If we could get to the rights for that would be fantastic.
Tara Strong. We'll just talk to Tara Strong. She does all those cons and cameos. We could probably just get her to record something for us. So
that sold. All right, I know what email I'm sending after this.
All right, patrons, you're paying for it. All right, let's get into the box office results for this week. I'm actually really sad this week to report the box office results because this is a down week. This is a down week. I hate to see movies not hitting their expectations. I mean, I'm blaming it on the Delta variant, all that stuff, the rise, and people being a little more cautious and going out and things like that. And we've seen their moving release dates again. I know there's been a lot of pushback on the whole day and date thing, and people are saying that's why this movie didn't do as well. I don't know.
No.
I am going to chalk it up to the once bitten, twice shy kind of rule. A lot
Okay.
of people went to see that first one and did not like it. So maybe
Sure.
that's why they're very hesitant to go back for this one. So I want to see if next week, maybe a word of mouth will make this maintain a pretty good weekend next weekend. We'll see. We will get to that a little later through our review and once we get to going forward. But the number one film for the weekend was The Suicide Squad, 26.5 million in 4,000 theaters. So that's not
Mm.
really great. That's like
Mm-mm.
half of what some of these other movies have been doing recently. So not great. And to compare to the original one, $133 million opening weekend.
Oh.
Whew. So not a good look here for the Suicide Squad. And that one went on to have 746 total. So this one will no way in shape or form reach that, even with the worldwide numbers, nothing. So
Sure.
overseas, it did fare a little bit better, 45.7 overseas, so it's at 72.2 worldwide. Okay, it's a little bit better, but this thing did not do anywhere near what they were hoping it to. So it's
Nope.
sad, and we'll get to it when we get to our review. But
Right.
number two, Jungle Cruise, 15.7 million. That's sitting at 65.3 domestic. It's made another 56.5 international, so it's at 121.8 worldwide. That international number, I think, is pretty decent too, because I know not every territory has access to the Disney Plus either. Like I saw somebody talking about even just Canada doesn't have like Disney Plus,
Oh,
I think.
really?
So I thought
Interesting.
so, yeah. So it's like some areas it may not be as accessible as it is here. So that maybe is adding to the box office number. Number three, Old, 4.1 million. It's at 38.5 domestic, 26.7 internationally for a 65.2 worldwide. I mean, he made his money back and then some. Say what you will about the
Sure.
reviews on it, you know.
Sure.
And then number four, Black Widow, also made 4 million. Those two were like neck and neck there. That is at 174 domestic, 185.4 international for a 358 worldwide. That's not bad. That really
Mm-mm.
is not bad. And this is now your best movie of the year, top of the year for box office, beating Fast Nine, Black
Wow.
Widow. So good on them. And I think there has been some maybe decent word of mouth out of that, you know,
Sure.
or just people were tired of waiting, you know, to see a new movie like that, a big blockbuster, a Marvel movie. It had been a long time. So
Right.
it's doing well. It's one of the few success stories of the year.
They should
And then
pay
rounding
ScarJo
out,
more.
yeah, there you go. Rounding out the top five was Stillwater, 2.9, making it 10 domestic, pretty much even 10. I'm impressed by that because that's such a
Hmm.
small indie movie. I feel like most people on the street wouldn't even know what it was if you asked them.
Sure.
But it's been doing okay for 2 weeks straight now, and maybe that's just the power of Matt Damon. I don't know. Although he got himself in some hot water in the last week or two as well. So
Said the F word.
uh, and then the only other new release that I kind of mentioned it last week was John in the Hole also came out. That debuted at number 24. Only 16.5 thousand, was only playing in 42 theaters. So very, very small release. That was really the only other one of the week. So that pretty much does it for our box office.
Okay, awesome, folks. Thank you very much for checking in with those polls. Some quick promotion stuff before we keep moving along. In your feeds right now is a Take-Two Spotlight that's out there at this moment. Miss Nicole Kidman, we had a lot of fun breaking that down, and we really hope you guys listen to some of those because, like this one, just to open a lot of folks' eyes of how incredible an actress she is and has been for so long, right? You know, a lot of actresses, actors are just like, oh, they're just a good-looking Hollywood star. No, no. Miss Kidman is, and continuing with that ladies theme, our Patreon episode from 2 weeks ago, if you're a Patreon member, we broke down best films directed by a female. And we had a lengthy, in-depth discussion on that one. It was a lot of fun. If you want to hear that, you have to be a Patreon member, just like Gerald, Roy, Craig, Kevin, Vaughn, Katz, Ryan, and Chris are. It's only $1 a month. You get at least 2 episodes. Plus, we have some merchandise and shout-outs and stuff galore. And one final shout-out I wanted to make. We have a lot of people that interact with us on the socials, but they actually don't listen to our show. One of them is Pam. I think you've
Okay.
recognized Pam has
Yeah.
commented every now and then.
Sure.
You came close to meeting her the other night. Don't expect you to remember her, but I pointed her out to a few other people that she is a social engager but not a listener. There's a slim chance that right now she gave me I'll give you a listen.
Give it a try.
Hi Pam, just in case. If not, see you. Pam.
Either way, that's fine too. I like the interactions, and I'm glad that we get that. So.
Yeah. All right, let's move right along to those poll results.
All right, the poll results this week are brought to you by one James Gunn. He's the man, the beautiful mind of James Gunn that brought us the Suicide Squad this week. So I wanted to look back at his surprisingly short career. You think he has a name that's established and he's been around a long time, but if you go to the filmography, it's like, nah, he hasn't really done that much. Not
Right.
much that most people know, at least. So I wanted to, pick people's brains and say, what's his best film that he's either directed or had a hand in writing? One big one he is the screenwriter for. So I wanted to include that in there. So Super was a film he came out with in 2010, starring Rainn Wilson, kind of his first foray into the superhero genre,
Mm,
which was where he is today, kind of entrenched. So I
sure.
threw that out there. Dawn of the Dead, the remake from 2004. He was credited with the sole screenplay credit on there for Zack Snyder directing. So I wanted to throw that out there because I know that has a lot of fans. And then Slither, I love Slither. I think it's fantastic. I don't know if enough people have seen it, but I threw that out there. And then Guardians. Guardians was kind of the first movie that really got most people to know who he was, and then he
Right.
got into the Marvel world and all that stuff. So no surprise there. Guardians wins, 63% of the vote. Guardians. The surprise for me was Slither actually edged out into second place, so that was good. I thought maybe Dawn of the Dead would have a little
Yeah,
fighting
same.
chance in there. Yeah, but Slither edged that out, 16% of the vote. Dawn of the Dead, 15% of the vote, and then Super, 6% of the vote, probably just because enough people haven't seen it. Over on Instagram, we had Sam and Craig both shout out Guardians as their pick. Justin, Epic Film Guys on Twitter said Slither up until tonight. He said up until tonight, Slither. He was
Oh.
going to see the Suicide Squad. So,
Ah.
um, and then also on Twitter, we got a shout out from Game for a Movie Pod, and they said PG porn, which I did not know what that was. Apparently, it was kind of like a web series comedy thing that he did, little
Oh.
2 to 3 minute short videos, kind of making PG porn like scenarios, and just like a comedy video thing that he did. So,
Oh.
was not
Okay.
familiar with it, but they loved it, so they wanted to shout it out.
We'll
So there
take
you
it.
go.
That
Yeah.
works. Very nice.
Would you have gone Guardians on this list, I guess, or?
No, I had a feeling that Dawn of the Dead would not get as much love as it deserves, and I'm a
Mhm.
fan of that film, so I voted for that. I
Sure.
was assuming Guardians would do what it did on your
Yeah.
list, so I threw
Same.
my vote
Same.
to Dawn of the Dead.
I think I did the same thing. I really do like that Dawn of the Dead. I mean, I know he didn't direct it, but a big
Sure.
part of it is his writing and what
Makes me
made
want
it
to see those two
successful.
collab again,
Sure, why not? Now that he's in the DC world, so
but Zach's not. So
maybe. Who knows? Who knows anymore? You
true,
know?
true. Stoking that flame. Okay. All
Yeah.
right, there you go, guys. Every single Thursday, those poll results come out for you. They are votable all weekend long across all of our socials. They don't close until Sunday, so you have plenty of time. And we've been doing a good job recently of kind of like retweeting that, resending that out. Like, hey, reminder, folks, this poll is up here. So all you have to do yourselves, folks, is reshare that onto your socials if you don't mind to get those numbers higher. Here we go, 5 big reviews, and we're going to start things off with the big release of the weekend, The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. I'm guessing you watched this at home as well. I
I
watched it on
had
the
to.
HBO Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually watched it twice. I found an opportunity to watch it twice this weekend. Once with my son, so judge me if you will. It is very
My
R-rated, but
daughter watched too.
I was like, you know what? It's not any words you haven't heard before, and you've seen the blood before. You've seen horror movies. Whatever. It is what it is. So,
Sure.
and when it's this high concept, stylized kind of thing, it's not as effective, I think. Yeah, whatever. So, anyways, yeah, we both watched it on the HBO Max. $185 million budget on this bad boy.
Well,
A little over 2 hours. It ended up being about 210, I think, with cutting off like the credits and whatnot. So
yeah.
that would be probably my only knock against the movie is I feel like it's a little long for me. I feel like there's
Okay.
some spots that could be trimmed down, bring that bad boy under 2 hours. Well-oiled machine. I think this thing would be the best thing that DC has done, in my opinion, if you
Mm,
trimmed it down a little bit.
sure.
I had a blast with this, especially the first, say, 30 minutes or so. I was laughing out loud numerous times. I was loving the character introductions. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't want to talk about that quite yet. As, it's a little spoilery as to what goes on there, but I really like the setup of it and the kind of just you guys know the game. We're rolling with this. We're not going to make it a
Mm,
sequel. It's kind of standalone-y, but hey, we're bringing back a couple people. Like it just worked. The way that they did it,
sure.
it just worked, and it didn't matter if there was continuity or not. I just had a blast with it. I really did. And like I said, on the rewatch, there was maybe one or two parts that I would say, okay, you could probably trim that or cut that out, and then that would have, made it even better for me. And I did kind of knock it down on my score on a second watch. I think the first watch I was just real high on it and real like, oh my god, that was so fun. So, what about
Nice.
you? Did you agree?
Um, yeah, you're right about the lead off. Like when it started, I paused my HBO Max because I thought like my app started me like midway through the film. I was like, whoa, they
Yeah.
just they didn't introduce me to every single character with a funny little bio and all that.
Yeah.
And instantly I was like, all right, turn off what you previously watched. Let's allow this filmmaker to show me something new. And it was good. I enjoyed that. We had some flashbacking. It was fun how they told you what day it was. It was like, 3 days from now.
Oh
But then
yeah.
like the leaves were like now and stuff. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, that's unique, kind of fun, kind of catchy. In that theme, the chemistry between these actors is hard to top.
Yeah.
I think the ensemble here worked beautifully across the board, and I thought that's what carried the film the best. You're right, you could trim. I will be honest, I dozed a little bit in when we were kind of chilling
Yeah.
later on,
Sure.
end of the second act-ish, like as we got into
Yes.
things, and there was definitely some dozing where I was like, oh, okay, kind of head nod. But that didn't mean that I was bored with the film. I was just like, all right, so
No.
we probably could have trimmed those little sections out for sure. I've seen a lot of people poo-pooing this film because it's standalone, and to them I want to say, hey, you're being a silly bug for that's your reason for not liking it. We don't have to do what we've done in the past where they all connect. If you
No.
recall, folks, when Marvel started, they weren't all connected. Yeah, they knew down the road, but that's not how we viewed the films, and we loved them for themselves like that. So I think that's why people should embrace this movie in here's our comic book movie of these people and their what they have to do. That's it. Let's just leave it alone and have fun. And so I think I'm with you there where I enjoyed that. I was like, this is great. We just had this fun story. That's it. If they come back down the road and do it again and get some of the pieces together, cool. But that's not my concern right now. And I actually
Yeah.
liked the movie for it.
Sure. Sure. Now, let's get into a little bit more specifics, a little bit more spoilery. So if you do want to jump ahead, at this point, we're both saying we like it. We tell you to go
Yes.
watch it. Maybe go see it in the theater because actually it does have a lot of big action. If you
That's
can, go support
right.
your local theater. It would be worth it. But it's on HBO Max, and I've already, like I said, rewatched it, so it's there for you. We both like it. Go check it out. But let's get into the specifics of it. Um, as we said, the whole new cast, the beginning of the film, Michael Rooker, Pete Davidson.
Right. Right. I got so giddy when Rookers with the long blonde hair. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, it's Michael Rooker with hair.
even Nathan Fillion, I was like, man, I love Nathan Fillion. Like, but then we get rid of all those characters, boom, like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is brilliant. That is James Gunn at his best. And he told us, he warned us, don't get comfortable with these people. These movies are called Suicide Squad. Don't expect them to survive. And I like that. I like that he did that. And he, even bringing back Jai Courtney, Captain Boomerang, and being like, see ya, like killing him off right away.
I
That
was
was
sad.
great.
I was sad
I
when
was
he died.
not. I was like, yes, because I hate him. He sucked. But yeah, it's just irreverent fun. It's got the needle drops in there, but they don't overdo it. I feel like he even like tamed that back a little bit from Guardians. It
Okay.
wasn't quite as much.
Sure.
But they were good. What you had in there, even the score, I thought was pretty good. John Murphy comes in and does the score. He previously did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, 28 Days Later, Kick Ass. A
Cool.
couple good movies in there, and I liked his score. It was kind of like a nice rockin', driving score throughout.
Mhm.
I did see one negative review that was like, "You made a sequel to Will Smith movie without Will Smith. That's your problem." What movie did you watch? Because Idris Elba was freaking fantastic in
Mhm.
this, and I was like, I don't even remember Will Smith being in the last movie compared to this. I thought he was better than Will Smith was in the first
Yeah.
one.
Sure.
It's a very similar arc and a very similar character. That's kind of sucks that you have to compare the two and be like, well, they're almost playing the same character, and they do almost have the same story, like the
Right.
daughter and all that stuff. So that's a little kind of weak sauce there. I think David Dastmalchian, is one of the highlights of the movie. I hope that he continues to get more stuff because I feel like we've seen him around and stuff, but it's always small roles. He
Right.
pops up in Dark Knight for a minute. He's in Ant-Man as one of the guys on the side. But I want him to get bigger roles because I
Right.
think he is good. He proves himself. As well as the girl who plays Ratcatcher too. I didn't write down her name, but I want to say she was like a first-time actress. I don't remember seeing her in anything
Mm-mm.
that I recognized, or maybe in her native language. She's in some Spanish language films or
Oh,
whatever.
okay,
But
gotcha. She's
yeah,
probably
I didn't really
super
recognize
famous in
her.
Spain, and
Yeah,
we don't
but I
know
thought
that
she
much.
was great, and she
Sure.
sells her a little bit of an arc that they give, and they
All
did
right.
a good job of giving kind of those main 5 or 6 people the little moments of like their backstories and their arcs that made it work. Even King Shark, I guess, had his moment. That was actually one of the
Uh-huh.
moments I feel like I would cut out of the film that slowed it down for me was him with the like aquarium and he's
With the
playing with like
jellyfish? Yeah.
yeah new dumb friends like that
Yeah.
part. I was like that's a scene that just kind of deflated the movie for me. It took me away out of the action.
Hmm.
And same thing with Harley. I love Harley Quinn, and I love seeing James Gunn have his take on Harley Quinn now. I will argue that the scene of her with the red dress fighting off all those guys was probably the best scene I've seen of Harley Quinn, period. It
Mm-hmm.
was iconic as hell. She's wearing the red dress. She's just killing all those people off, the flowers, all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
was amazing.
Yeah.
The other sequence, though, earlier in the film with her that was the moment where I started to lose the film. Was her with like the whole boyfriend thing, and
Mm-hmm.
that completely
Sure.
should be cut out of the movie. I feel like that scene was awful and not needed, and that's
Okay.
where I
Valid.
started to lose interest.
Yeah.
But that's like my biggest complaint of the movie are those like two sequences that just kind of took me out of the movie. Um, I love Cena. I thought Cena was great. I thought he was really funny. His delivery of lines was really funny.
Sure.
I love peace so much. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to get it. Like all those things. He's wearing the tighty whities. That's racist.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Just everything he says in the movie, I was pretty much laughing at, and I like the way that they used his character. I guess I won't say any more. I don't want to kind of give that away, but the way they
No
used his
spoilers,
character,
actually.
yeah, but I'll
Yeah,
leave
I'm
that
with you.
alone. Just the
I'm
way they
with you.
use him, and then also being able to set him up for more. It was a smart use of his character, I thought.
Sure.
Um, I really, really loved. I forgot to mention with the polka dot man, the way that they did his mom,
His mom.
those sequences, that was hysterical.
Sure.
That he was just driven by wanting to kill his mom, and that was what he was seeing. I thought that was so fun
Yeah.
and so well done. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, Flag. I guess it's sad that what happened with him in the end, but we got him for 2 movies. That's fine. We can move on with this new crew.
It's
You
funny
know.
because I liked him so much more in this one.
True. True.
He
That
bulked
is
up a
very
little
true.
bit, so
Yeah.
it gave more credence to him being this, super
Hmm.
soldier, whatever. And I was just like, oh, I actually really liked him in this one, which made, the end of that more
Sure.
saddening, I
Sure.
suppose.
Yeah. Those couple bits aside that slowed me down, or maybe there was just too much going on, like a military coup, and then we got this kaiju thing. Like, there's a lot packed into this movie.
Sure.
So, besides those few minor complaints, it was a lot of fun, great casting. I would love to see all these guys back. Now I just wonder, is it going to happen? Because it cost so much and it did not
Mm.
make very much. So,
Yeah.
what do you do with these kind of movies? Because the response has been great. The Rotten Tomatoes is like 95 or something. It's crazy. People are
Yeah.
loving this thing. So.
Yeah, crazy. People are higher than I am for sure. I saw some of the greatest
Yeah.
reviews. I was like, oh my god! And I didn't get to watch this until last night, late. And people were like, best CBM ever. This is
Hmm.
the best thing DC's ever. Just like hands down, easily the best comic movie. I was like, holy cow! What am I about to watch here? So maybe my expectations were a little bit too high, but I did overall enjoy it. You're right. There's some trimming that could have been done, but I loved the killing off of the people early on. Just to piggyback as to what you said. And just seeing some of them get killed, I was like, "Oh, sweet, he's gone. He's gone." That's right. TDK. What does that stand for?
Yeah.
What was it? The
The
detachable
detachable kid,
The
yeah.
detachable. Horrible.
Which I think,
Fantastic.
if I remember right, the source material, he was actually called like Arm Fall Off Boy or something from the comics. So they changed it
God,
because
that's
people
so
were like,
funny.
"Who's he playing?" And they didn't even know. But yeah, let James Gunn do more stuff like this, man. He's awesome.
Sure.
He did it. I saw another meme that was like, "Hey, remember when I made a comic book movie of characters that no one knew? Hold my beer. I'm going to do it again."
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He just raised the bar, and
Sure.
he can do this. Keep doing it. And I'm excited to see if he does more stuff with Peacemaker in the future, and I would give him another project. Bring on more characters because we were even kind of slightly like cameo Easter egged into other characters in Belle Reve. Like you see other
Uh-huh.
people and you're like, oh, who's that guy or whatever, So
Sure.
they
Sure.
could easily work some of those characters in the future.
I want to see more of his take on Harley. It definitely was some of my favorite Harley. Like it was like, oh,
Sure.
we have to give Harley her scene, but then it was like, well, you should because she's freaking Harley Quinn, and then she was fantastic. You're right, the double guns firing up in the middle of that thing. Because I was thinking, why would you just keep going through the hallway? Like it was in the round or whatever, and I was like, oh, because I'm enjoying the scene. I'd like to watch
Yes.
that on the big screen. It was
Yeah.
badass.
And to see her in a new kind of outfit again, like that iconic like red dress thing, like it wasn't really sexualized at all, I didn't think, which
Sure.
was nice.
Sure.
Yeah, it was good, man. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I would probably rewatch it again, to be honest. And that always makes me, rank a movie
There you
higher
go.
on my personal
Sure.
scale. So
Before we move on, do you feel his firing by Disney, those issues with the tweets, was a factor here in people not seeing this at all? I think
no,
people forgot,
I think
right?
they forgot already. Yeah, especially because it was before he's been announced as coming back for some of this other stuff too. Like it's been long enough. I think people don't care.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think.
Welcome back, those of you who skipped ahead and you didn't want to hear the spoilers. Go watch Suicide Squad. It's available now in theaters, also on HBO Max. I'm just going to push the in theaters. I want people to go to the theaters, bring them back. Did you go?
Oh,
And this can be in the non-spoiler section, as they were leading up to the starfish joke, which was in the trailer, my
Yes.
daughter was crying, laughing. And my wife looks over. She's like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "This joke that's in the trailer is coming up." And
My
that's,
son referenced it this morning. He said it again this morning, and I was
well,
like,
yay, 13-year-olds. Awesome.
yes.
All right, let's get chatting about a documentary called Val.
Yeah, I really like Val, available on Prime now. This is a documentary about someone who's still alive, although it feels like it's not. That's the only knock I have against this movie, is that it is like very emotional and very touching, and it's like, but this person's still alive. It's
Sure.
weird to watch something like that and feel that way,
You could
right?
go get this autograph at a con next weekend.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
weird to feel that way watching this. So that's the only, I don't even want to say it's a negative, but it was just weird how that's done.
true.
Very cool how it's just a collection mostly of his home movies or behind the
Yeah,
scenes stuff on the set. And then he uses his son to kind of fill in the gaps with narrating stuff. Really sad moments there when you get to really see him using his voice and struggling, going to that Comic-Con and getting sick and needing to take a break and all that stuff. I'm glad that they kept that stuff in the film to show warts and all kind of what he's
right,
going through. And
right.
on top of that, though, I will say knowing Val Kilmer, his backstory and the things that he has had to deal with in his career, they did a little bit of like fluff PC to this movie. Like they didn't really get into like the nitty gritty of his divorce or the nitty gritty of some of the
Sure.
films that he kind of fell on the wayside and got in bad graces with some of these directors and whatnot. So they kind
Yeah,
of just glossed over a lot of that, which is fine. But um, I thought it was good. I thought it was really well done. I like the fact that he's credited as a cinematographer at the end. That was
yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, what did you think? Did you learn anything? You know, I had a couple things I wrote down.
I learned that my wife agrees with me that Bob Dylan's "Knocking on Heaven's Door" is superior to GNR's. She was like, "Wait, who sings this version?" And I was like,
Is
"Babe,
this a
that's Bob."
cover?
Yeah, honestly, she didn't know, and she was like, "This is great," and I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's Bob Dylan," and I just confirmed her. I was like, "Yeah, it's Dylan's version of it, which is phenomenal." Then we might have
Yeah,
listened to it later. I will say, as a positive, I threw this on while she was still sleeping. She wakes up, comes down, grabs her coffee, like 10 minutes into as I started. Couldn't get her away from the TV. Like she was
yeah,
sucked in. She very entrenched. So that it's an entrenching watch. You know, it definitely sucks you. And you're right. There was some fluffy stuff. I did like that they kept the Island of Dr. Moreau issues
yes,
and the fight, and because Val wasn't in the right in those arguments, like you're listening to him be a prick at the same time, while
sure,
also
sure.
what's his name was. So it did show a wee bit of it. And you're right, they were just like, and by the way, our careers took a toll, so we got divorced. There's a
Yeah,
lot more there, but
yeah, sure.
the sadness of losing his brother, the sadness of how he carried that with him through there, you know, the emotionality in there was crazy. His Juilliard stuff was really fun. I could watch a whole nother doc just on him, all the acting styles that they went through at Juilliard, what they learned, what they didn't know, all those kind of things were a lot of fun. Watching him on Inside the Actor's Studio, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. I remember watching that episode. And it did get sad because you would see him muscular, cut, freaking beautiful face here in Top Gun and booking this and this,
Yeah.
and then it would cut to him now, and it's just like, oh my god, like,
He looks
oh,
like an old woman. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's weird.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's I was kind of blown away by some of the stuff that he did and some of the stuff that he kept or whatever, like those audition tapes that he made for directors. That was cool,
Yeah.
man. Like to see that. I made this for Kubrick. I made this for Scorsese. You know, whatever, trying to get in these movies and it didn't work out. You know, that's humbling, I'm sure, for him to even let anybody see that or know that. Like, hey, I really wanted to work with these guys and this is what I was doing.
Mhm.
And then to see his struggles with trying to get that Twain thing off the ground. You know, he
I remember
toured
that.
every
Remember that
one.
came was coming to DC. We
I
talked
do
about going to
remember,
that.
yeah, yeah. And I was like, man, now it makes me want to like, I want him to get better. I want him to make that movie now and like do his
Yeah,
passion project if he use that
yeah,
into it, you know. And you know, again, the fluffing, he kind of didn't really talk in depth on Batman, but that was kind of like where his career started to turn was after Batman because he didn't want to come back and do it, and that was when he
yeah,
was kind of labeled as that troublesome guy to work with, you know.
yeah.
Um,
Every kid
yeah, I don't
wants to
know.
be Batman. Not every kid wants to
Yeah,
play Batman in a movie. Yeah,
if you grew up the same time we did, if you're around our age, you probably have high reverence for Val Kilmer. And if
sure.
you watch this, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love revisiting, you know, Top Gun, Batman, Tombstone, The Saint, all these movies that he was in that are just great. You forget
Yeah,
how many great things he's been in, and it makes you sad that he's still around, but we're not getting him, you know,
sure.
working in films. And I would love to see that. I hope that he does get better and can come back around and be in something again because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it gives a little. I'm not finding the right word here, but where people were mad at him for backing out of Batman or whatever, him being that hard to work with. I guess it's more understandable. He went to Juilliard. He wants to invest into a
He's method.
character.
Yeah,
He
he's
wants it
method,
right,
man. Yeah.
and in that role, he simply couldn't, mainly because the
He
suit
called it soap
restricted
opera
him.
acting. He's
Yeah,
like, look how many times I do this or whatever, and like
yeah, and he's got Tommy Lee and Jim Carrey with him going nuts. And so the next role he gets offered is the Saint, where he plays 10 different
can
roles.
do it. Yeah, he can do
You
it.
can
Yeah,
see his math. You can see where he's just like, I'm good.
sure.
This isn't what I want to do, but what have you.
And same thing with the Moreau thing. It's like he gets to work with his hero Marlon Brando, who was method, and he wanted to work with him, and then it's such a bad experience.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
has to hurt. That has to sting.
He
So.
says to the guy who's his double, he's like, "What's your name? All right, you're killing it.
I
You're
like
not
that he just
Marlon
goes
Brando."
over to talk to him too, and he's like, "Push me." He's in like the hammock. Like, what a fucking waste of a human being Marlon Brando looked like at the end there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! But yeah, it's a very interesting watch for sure. So
Mhm.
two thumbs up on both of these movies, Suicide Squad and Val. Two for two so far.
On Prime, right? Prime
Yeah.
available
Yep.
now.
Yep.
You said watch Netflix's Pray Away, right? Pray Away.
I did. Pray Away. I had talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago. I thought it was coming out sooner than it was, but it didn't come out until
Mm.
this past week, so I finally got a chance to catch up with it. And this is a Netflix documentary, executive produced by Ryan Murphy and Jason Blum, actually, and directed by Kristen Stolakis. I want to say she's done some other stuff. I did not write down what, but I thought this was actually a documentary series, but it was actually just a one-off, a one movie, about an hour and 40 minutes. And this looks into the history of gay conversion therapy and how big it got just in like the 70s, especially was kind of when it reached its pinnacle. And a lot of these different churches across America and whatnot wanted to get these programs going to try and convert people away from being gay. They thought that this was a thing they could do. So now we're looking at this documentary 40, 50 years later, and they actually, the best thing about this documentary is they do bring in other people's point of view who are still supporters of this kind of thing and
Hmm.
kind of hear their voice and be like, make your argument, and they let them have that little bit of the movie to have the floor, which I did appreciate. So it wasn't all just one-sided.
Sure. Yeah.
But most of it is people who are quote unquote survivors of this, who went through this program and it didn't work. You know what I mean? They can't change who they are, whatever, and them telling their side of it. Even people who were originally involved with the programs and now they're coming back and sharing how they're like, yeah, we were wrong. Like this was bad that we did this. So pretty compelling stuff. If you're not familiar with it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Pray Away. I was previously already pretty familiar with this whole conversion therapy stuff, and there's been a lot of movies that deal with it and whatnot in the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
I didn't really learn too much new out of it, I guess. But if you're coming into it fresh and don't know about this, it is interesting to watch and to see the long-term effects now that it's been 40, 50 years since this stuff's been going on. So
Great stuff.
I recommend it. I think it's good, and I think this is part of like what Ryan Murphy's going to continue to do with Netflix. He's got the dramatic series, he's got documentaries, he's doing it all for them. So he's found a good home at Netflix, I think.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. A few weeks back, we gave you a first take on Kevin Can F Himself. This is Annie
Yeah.
Murphy's first big project after her Schitt's Creek stardom or projection of stardom. Not only is she in this, but Eric Peterson, Mary Hollis in Bowden, and more. The series wrapped up 2 weeks ago, actually, but it releases Sunday nights and then not onto the AMC app until like Monday night. So after we record Monday mornings. I enjoyed this. It shifted into neutral a wee bit as we expanded upon other characters getting some side story stuff, but none of that was boring. Mary Hollis and Bowden's character could have her own show with some of the things that she's dealing with, but her and Annie Murphy's characters come together perfectly. The things I wasn't loving in the beginning, Eric Peterson, the husband, with the cheesy sitcom stuff, it actually grows on you to where then you look forward to their characters being so over the top and so outlandish. Then you just like kind of accept it and then really enjoy their aspect of it. As it goes on, it gets even more and more sitcom-y outlandish, like where he's running for mayor, but he's, you know what I mean, like goofy things to that degree. But when they infused things together, they added Robin Lord Taylor, who played the Penguin in Gotham, into the mix, and he plays this sketchy dude really well. It was fun to see him play a different role to a degree, and I thought it was really good. Early on, it started off where she needed a new life, and I really appreciated the fact that she just wasn't like running into the arms of another man type deal. Like, oh, I hate my marriage. Let me just go bang some other dude. And vice versa, guys for women too. And it wasn't that in the beginning. as the series goes on, another guy does step into that realm, and things start to kindle. I will say it left us wide open for what the hell is going to happen in season 2. The way it cliffhangs the end of season 1, it's just like I'm sold. Like, hurry up and give me season 2
Yeah.
right now. Please announce that it's coming, because I now need to know what happens. And you can't get much more of a positive review on something that wants you desperately wanting more. So I recommend it. It's on AMC. You can catch up on the app. It's only 8 episodes, and they're all like 45 minutes each.
Okay, yeah, I meant to catch up on this when you first reviewed it, and I think I kind of forgot about it at first and never caught up. But it does sound good. It sounded, like an intriguing premise, and I'm glad to hear
Exactly.
that you gave it a real big, positive review in the
Yeah.
end. So I might have to catch up.
Beautiful. Wrapping
Cool.
things up. Buddy, tell me about the boy behind the door.
The boy behind the door. This is the spooky stuff that you love. This is what I'm here
Ooh,
for, is
let
to
me
bring
turn
the
the lights
spooky
on.
stuff.
Hang on.
Yeah. This is a Shudder exclusive, so if you have the Shudder service, it is on there. This is a very, very basic, simple premise to a movie. You start off with two boys. They're wearing baseball uniforms, walking through like a field and near the woods, kind of look like they're walking home from baseball practice or whatever, right? Talking about how great being friends are. They're just the best of friends, whatever. Next thing you know, boop, somebody gets hit on the head. They're gone. They're kidnapped.
Oh, no.
We see them kidnapped in this house. The one friend actually is able to escape from where he's being held and is running away from the house. And then he's like, can't leave my friend behind. I got to go back into this house and try and save
Sucker.
my friend.
Loser.
So that is the basic premise of the story. Is just this, friendship never dies, kind of thing. So these two little boys trying to escape their kidnappers. It is basically 4 or 5 people in the entire movie. If you've ever seen People Under the Stairs,
Uh-huh.
which came out in the 90s, this gave me very People Under the Stairs vibe, kind of. And I dug that movie, and I think we announced that Jordan Peele was talking about remaking that, or at least producing a remake of
That
that.
sounds right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this is probably the closest thing we're going to get until that. The kid who stars in the movie, the big star of the movie, is Lonnie Chavis, I believe his name is, plays young Randall on This Is Us,
Okay.
like in the flashbacks, kind of.
Yep, yep. Gotcha.
He's really good as kind of our lead, and he's the boy who's able to kind of get away, but then goes back to save his friend. He's really good and just tries to fight off these kidnappers. The only other one that I really knew was Kristen Bauer von Straten. She was in True Blood. She played
The
Pam in True Blood.
blonde? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
What's
she's
her
one of
name's
the
like assistant in it as well.
yeah, so she's
Okay.
kind of the lead female kidnapper of this group or whatever. So, and
Uh,
he's trying to fight them off and get his friend free, and so they can escape the house. So that, I can't really say much else than that, but it's promising. It's a promising debut directorial effort by these two guys, David Charbonneau and Justin Powell. They wrote and directed it. This is their first film. They said themselves that they were inspired by Goonies and they were inspired by The Shining, just kind of having this like solitary in the house kind of thing.
okay.
There is an extended sequence with an axe also, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's tense. It's real time. The hour plus movie is what's going on in real life. It's very cat and mousey, but like I said, just simple and it works. That's all you need. It's an effective little horror movie, so I liked it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. There's 5 good reviews, and every one of them was positive. So there you go. This doesn't happen. We're in a great
It's a
mood.
rarity. It's a rarity.
Go check out all of those, and then hit us up on socials. Let us know what you guys thought. For right now, we're going to take a quick breather and be right back.
I literally am going to take 2 seconds to turn on my fan. My fan's off. I'm dying over here.
Getting sweaty.
Give me 2 seconds.
You YouTube watchers, this is a treat, baby.
Keep talking.
Sadly, he does wear pants. All of you YouTube watchers can confirm. We saw you stand up there. Buddy, I'm in pain. I'm actually in actual pain right now.
Oh, yeah?
Saw you over the weekend. Saw your 13-year-old
That's why you're
boy.
in pain?
I'm building the story. And your boy is taller than I am, growing. And also part of growing is this day was going to come where our kids get invited to do things like without us or whatever. My daughter was invited to go to Disney for the week with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to say yes, mainly because this means she's now reaching a level to do those things. You know what I mean?
Sure.
To like spend
Sure.
some time with some friends, go away. Dropped her and the other family off just this morning at the airport or whatever. And I'm like bawling my eyes out, not because I know they're gonna have a good time, not because they're gonna miss her, but just the fact that she's
Doing
getting
that,
to that.
yeah.
Her first time
Yeah.
on an airplane without myself or her mom, and yeah, I was like, No.
And then you came home and changed the diaper, and you're like, I've got
I know,
so
we got
far
the
to
other one.
go. You're crying again.
Total yin and yang, the total
Yep.
opposites. Yeah, so I was like, ugh, I was hurting bad. But hey, such is parenting, such is getting old. But I mean, you and I are both, 40 in 2 weeks for myself, and you are,
Yeah.
like, we don't feel it, we don't look it.
No,
You don't look
I
like you
still
should be.
try to feel young. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is sad. It's sad. We're getting there. So
All listeners, just if you see me, I'll take a hug. You don't even have to say why. If you just randomly throw me a hug, I'll take it. We'll both know what's up, and that's it. All right, let's rock and roll into our trailer talk.
trailer talk was a little bit lighter this week, thankfully.
Mm.
We got another little season 4 Stranger Things teaser thing. This was really just to announce the date, I think, which sadly is not until next year. We were hoping maybe by Christmas time-ish we would get this released, but it's a 2022. Although, who knows, that could be early 2022, especially if we're getting more teasers. Did you watch? Did you see? We got a couple blinks of new footage.
Yeah, like you said, there wasn't a whole lot added to it. It's almost like they did this just to then make you, okay,
Yeah.
there's our release date. There we go.
We got like Hopper with a flamethrower. We got 11 with long hair. Obviously some time has passed, and these kids are growing up, man. They're growing up. I really hope that season 4 is like, okay, we're gonna go right into season 5, and that's it. Like, let's announce it, because these kids aren't gonna be around too long.
True, very much so. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they said this is the wrap, or
Sure.
or maybe that's a little bit longer because they're filming them back to back and we just don't know about it.
That would be sweet, and they really should already be like in production on another season.
Sure.
All right, the other one, you kind of had to do a little searching for this if you didn't see it right when it was on, but they did an Olympics-only tease of Don't Look Up, which I actually saw during the Olympics, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then I went to look online, and I'm like, it's not, like, officially released. Like, you had to look for it, and then it was like somebody videoed it off of their phone. Like, they haven't officially released it to YouTube yet, so it's only like 30 seconds, but did you check it out?
Yeah, I felt dirty watching it. I was like, what illegal app did I just get from Tony? How did I get on this? But okay. It's weird because it almost looks like two different, like one part of it I'm like, is this a straight comedy of an asteroid hitting Earth? And then the other part of it is like, no, this is like a apocalyptic type film type thing.
Oh,
So it's hard
what
for,
did you... I wonder if you watched something different than I only saw a 30-second little clip, so...
was it the comedy aspect?
Yeah, it was just
Okay.
DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence and what's his name, fat
Jonah?
skinny guy. Yeah,
Jonah Hill.
and then a little bit of Meryl Streep, and that was basically all it was. So, did you see
Okay.
anything else?
No, I guess I was just thinking when they showed like the military base thing, maybe there's more to it that I saw
Maybe,
online as opposed to
Yeah, I
watching
don't know,
during the
maybe.
Olympics.
Yeah, maybe.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think the tone of it looks almost like Mars Taxi. To
Right.
me, I was like, this is an interesting tone, especially with this big of a cast.
Sure.
So I hope it doesn't go too far like comedic, where it's crazy, nutty. Sure. I do want to have fun with it, but it's a great cast. I'd like to see these people act as well. So
Agreed.
We'll see.
Okay. Agreed.
Speaking of probably the worst thing that we saw this week was the
God.
Cinderella trailer. Good Lord, what is this nightmare? What is this? I didn't watch this until this morning. I saw that you had posted it, and I was like, what is this?
It looked like a straight-to-DVD film, but with a loaded cast. Like,
It
like
looked like, I feel like we
names.
reference this movie all the time, Knight's Tale. It looks like they're trying to do Knight's Tale as Cinderella, like with the modern music and crap in there, and I was like, no, it's not going to work. Not going to work.
No.
Nothing against Camila Cabello. I'm sure she's fine. She looks good in the part. She can sing. And I guess I'll give some credit to what they're doing with Billy Porter and trying to make him a new take on that character. It could be interesting, but it just doesn't look good at all. It doesn't look like, it's not my not my Cinderella.
No. But see, and then we talked about this last week. I'm very curious, how did they get Cinderella away from Disney? Like, isn't the rights strictly Disney's or maybe
Either that,
Disney
or
was
was
like,
it-
what do you want to do with it? Oh, that's what you're doing? Yeah, you could have
Go
fun.
ahead, have a knockout. Yeah.
But I forgot the other thing though. James Corden playing a mouse.
Yes, yeah.
So he's
Yeah,
done a
I
rabbit. He's done a mouse. I think twice now actually, and a cat. But
Yeah.
he's just
Peter
knocking
Rabbit.
out.
He's in Peter Rabbit too.
Right.
Or that
Yeah,
rabbit. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Rabbit, mouse, cat. Just keep it rolling, James. Get all the barnyard animals.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, we'll probably end up watching it.
100%.
Hate watching it. Yeah.
Review
But,
coming.
yeah.
When is it? November or September 3rd. Yeah, on Amazon Prime.
Oof, okay.
That's the other thing. It's straight to Prime. This isn't theater either.
No.
Like I joke straight to DVD, it literally is straight to streaming, but for on purpose. Anyway.
Yeah. We got our first look at Why the Last Man, which I did not think was ever going to happen. I loved this book. I read the comics like
Mm.
over 15 years ago. Loved it. It's a great book. And I know they kept talking about it was development hell for a long time. They kind of started and stopped with different cast members, different directors, whatever. It's finally coming. It's happening. And I'm
Woohoo.
pumped for it. However, I feel like this is bad timing as to what's going on in the world.
Mm.
This is kind of a bad time to release a show like this, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. 10 eps starts on Monday. That's the
The
13th.
13th, I think?
13th. Yeah. But I'm with you. Timing on all this, and I only know this from you referencing the book forever ago.
Yeah, yeah, it's very good book. This boy survives basically a viral pandemic, and he's the only man left.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dream, but it really is not in the end. So,
Well, Diane
no, it's
Lane
good though.
is in
Yeah,
this as well. Yeah.
she was probably the only like recognizable actor or actress I thought from the ad there.
I have to look into it, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's good, and I'm hoping maybe since it's on FX or whatever. Well, FX is usually kind of harsh because there are some like real graphic things in there. So like I don't know if my son can watch it or not because I think he would enjoy it. It looks like a
Okay.
good. So we'll see.
Okay.
That remains to be seen.
Hmm.
We also got an extended look at Venom, a new trailer of Venom, if you will, with a little more carnage in there. What
There's
do you
a
think
red
about
one.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a red one. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel this movie is going to be pot committed to. It came out 20 years too late. Like this movie probably would have been an amazing comic film if it came out when what's his name, Green Lantern Reynolds did his. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
back before we got all hoity-toity about what
Or
we expect
during
from
like
our.
the Spider-Man run where we were kind of introduced to Venom. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It knows how bad the first one was, and was like, we'll just stick with it and take it to the next level. We thought that when we originally saw the trailer.
I will say this trailer looked a little bit better to me than the
Okay.
first one. Like
Sure.
the silliness of the first one with the singing and cooking breakfast and all that.
Yeah.
That was real off-putting. I feel like this one we got into a little bit more. We saw Carnage. They look the same though. Come on, folks. They look the same. I mean, it literally is. It's a red one. It's not
It's a
that
red
different. Cry Macho was the last trailer of the week. Clint Eastwood directing, starring. He doesn't seem to stop working, even though looks completely dead in my opinion. He looks like a dead person.
He does. This looked better. What was the one where he was the uber conservative, grumpy old man? Get off my lawn.
Oh, I like that movie. What was that called? El Camino,
Gran
or some
Torino.
shit like that.
Gran
Gran
Torino.
Torino, some old car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it too. I don't
Yeah.
know. This was likening to me, but I liked this better. This looked.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
for me, this didn't look. For me, I would rather have seen him cast somebody else to play that role. I
Okay.
feel like he needs the ship has sailed on him acting. Just give it up.
Ah,
Directing, that's fine. I feel
Sure.
like his performance in the trailer wasn't believable or didn't sell me. And it's hard to say because Clint Eastwood's a legend. But
Sure.
that's the part that was the worst of the trailer for me was him. I don't
he's
know.
not. He's 91, by the way.
Yeah, we might have to get that spotlight scheduled.
Will be a postpartum spotlight.
Yeah. So that's it for the trailers, though. Let's move on to the casting couch. We're in the Frasier Sans, my friend.
We are. I'm here for it. We're here for
I
it.
am
That's fine.
pumped for the Frasier Sans. He has been cast in The Killers of the Flower Moon, the Martin Scorsese movie, as well as the movie Brothers, the comedy Brothers. We had talked about this before from the director Palm Springs, and it has Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, and Peter Dinklage in it. So
okay.
he's joining the
He's
cast of
joining.
that as well. So yeah, love it. Love some Frasier coming back around.
Nice.
I'm excited
I'm in.
for it. Yeah. We have a Lego Star Wars Halloween special coming. It's called Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. That's coming October 1st to Disney Plus, and they have cast Christian Slater as a pretty important role here for the voice roles. A lot of the other voice roles are people you may not know, but they put Christian Slater in here, and his character's just named Ren. So I don't know what that
Just
means.
Ren.
That applies to Kylo Ren. Maybe a little history there. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
But either way, that looks cool. I'm down for that.
Yeah, bring it on.
Ashton Kutcher has joined Reese Witherspoon in her new rom-com that she's making for Netflix called Your Place or Mine. So,
Rock and roll.
traditional like 90s, 2000s rom-com with those two. Hey, all
Sign
right,
me
I'm
up.
in. Yeah.
Okay.
We had talked about the Project Renfield a few times on here, which is supposed to be like a Dracula spin-off Now they've cast their Renfield, and that is going to be Nicholas Hoult, so he will be starring on this. This is another one I was like, I don't know if this is ever going to get off the ground here going, but now it seems like they're moving on it, so I'm proud to finally check that movie out.
Very cool.
Neil Patrick Harris has been cast in a new comedy series, I believe it's a series, at Netflix called Uncoupled. It sounds interesting, where he's like kind of left behind by his husband after 17 years or whatever, and now he's in his 40s and he's alone and has to deal with that, whatever. So kind of that take on that genre, you know?
It was Gwyneth coined the uncoupling phrase, right?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Gwyneth that said that first?
Maybe, the group. Yeah, I mean, good for him. And I know people loved, what was it, How I Met Your Mother, so to see him returning to another comedy series might be kind of good for people there, excited. Luis Guzman is supposedly cast as Gomez in the Wednesday series for Tim Burton Netflix, as well as, this is just in talks or rumors so far, is that Eva Green may be our Morticia there.
Oh, nice.
I like the Eva Green for Morticia. I don't know if I love the Luis Guzman Gomez, or I don't know if I love the pairing of the two actors.
Correct. Maybe. I will agree with that, 100%. Yeah.
I feel like both of them could probably do it. I'm not saying they don't have the skill, but I just don't know if I like the connection there, the two.
Sure.
We'll see.
Sure.
We'll see. Euphoria. You watched the Euphoria season 2? We're adding Minka Kelly. We love the Minka Kelly.
Hello. She dated Derek Jeter.
So she'll be joining season 2 of Euphoria. I believe they're already filming that. And then the Yellowstone prequel has announced, that's called 1883. They've announced their cast so far. Sam Elliott, Faith Hill, and Tim McGraw all joining that project.
Yeah, I'm in.
There you go.
I love
Definitely some old 1800 cowboys. I mean, if you need a cowboy, call Sam Elliott. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Instant.
So good on them, yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully we just get a scene of him looking in the rearview mirror looking back.
Stop. All right. I'm already in an emotional state right now, man. You're going to make me start crying even more. God.
I think that's it for me for casting. Did you have anything else?
I had one other thing that you didn't mention, and it was a little more How I Met Your Mother alum Kobe Smulders is replacing Betty Gilpin in the American Crime, the impeachment American Crime story.
Okay.
She's playing Ann Coulter in that.
Gotcha.
Which was
that's
Gilpin.
That's already
it's
slated
supposed to come out like September 7th, something like that. Limited series.
I'm looking forward to it. Beanie Fieldstein as Monica Lewinsky.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, taking a quick breather. We'll be right back for the final act of our show. Once again, guys, hit us up. Ratings and reviews, 5-star would be fantastic. And then across the board, at Take Two Podcast for Twitter, 434-602-1931. You can drop us a phone call, leave a voicemail or text. And lately, don't forget, there's merchandise for sale, guys. You are welcome to go to TeePublic and buy Take Two merch. All of our products are available now. We had some limited time things in there, but everything, all of our logos, even our old school logo, the Realm logo, Spotlight logo, and Take Two Podcast logo, they're all available right now. We just recently put up the link on our socials, so just go to our socials, scroll back a wee bit, and you'll find the link.
And somebody just bought something, so thank you. And if you do have that new item or maybe an old item, you got the hat, the T-shirt, whatever, go online, post a picture of it that you're listening to us, and tag us and let us know. Get it socialized.
All right, let's rock and roll into some Hollywood news.
All right, I'm going to take us down for a minute. We got a couple rest in pieces. Marsha Nassatir, do you know who that is? If that name rings a bell. Most people would not recognize that name. She was 95. She passed away this week. She was the first female VP of a major studio. She worked for United Artists and was a big producer back in the 70s. She helped get these movies off the ground. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Rocky, Carrie, Raging Bull, Network, Big Chill. What else here? People versus Larry Flint. So between the 70s and the 90s right there, bunch of huge movies that she was personally involved in getting going as a producer. And like I said, just important as being a first female kind of VP of a studio. That's a big thing. So, yeah, just wanted to mention her. Most people don't recognize the name, but a big piece of history there.
All right.
And then secondly, we lost Markie Post this weekend. Markie Post was 70. She died of cancer. Not really, again, a name that's super recognizable maybe, but I remember growing up as a kid in the 80s and 90s, I loved Night Court. I thought that show was hilarious.
It was funny.
She was great. She was great on there. And then in the 90s, she played Cameron Diaz's mom in There's Something About Mary, that iconic sequence with the Franks and Beans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
Gonna always remember her popping up in there, and I liked Marky Post. I thought she was great, so makes me want to revisit the old Night Court. All right, but that is it for the RIP. Moving on to the news of the week. I said this in front of my wife, and she kind of got mad because I said, now I'm more intrigued to see this movie. Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe project starring Ana de Armas, has been moved to 2022 now. And apparently it's because Netflix saw kind of the first cut of it and was like, it is graphically sexual, I think is what they coined it as. And I was like, now I want to see this movie even more. Is that bad? Yeah. Because I love the Ana de Armas. So yeah, I mean, you could also look at it from the other way, that maybe they see something in there that they could play it as like an Oscar-y. Maybe it's going to be like a year out, I don't know, or do you think that this is the sexual thing and they just want to cut it back?
Yeah, the thing that I read was Netflix like saw it and it was like, oh no, this is not what we signed up for. This is not our speed.
We can't do this.
Yeah, I forget what the one scene was. Something super graphic with some fluids.
Well, I remember when we were younger, it was called Norma Jean and Marilyn, and it was like an HBO movie, and I thought Ashley Judd played Norma Jean, and there's a few scenes in there of her just like completely naked, like sexual stuff, whatever. So I mean, her story has that to it, so it's not like you can just not include that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. We talked about Reese Witherspoon a couple minutes ago. She has sold her company, Hello Sunshine, for $900 million. That's insane. So good job.
That's a crazy number, because we're gonna say that exact number again in a few seconds.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, we are. But that's great. I'm sorry, but please keep going. So she sold the whole company for $900 million. That's crazy.
$900 million, which her company was part of getting Gone Girl made, Wild, The Morning Show, Big Little Lies, Little Fires Everywhere. So a lot of like Oscar-y, Emmy type movies in there. So there you go. She thought it was time to sell, I guess. And there's been talk of maybe Apple jumping on board to buy it up or whatever, because of their involvement with her. Different companies have different involvements with her. So, but good on her that she's been able to turn her company and sell that much money.
Nice. Beautiful.
I've been excited to watch all the Jeopardy this summer, all the different guest hosts and whatever. They're like, we're probably just going to hire the executive producer as the host, is what they've come down to. I'm like, well, what was the point of bringing all these other people on? I thought you were like auditioning people. So it looks like Mike Richards, nothing official yet, but it looks like Mike Richards will just take over the hosting duties there. That sucks. I think that's a dumb move by them. I think they're going to lose some viewers for sure.
Agree. Well, especially we championed it here on our show, and apparently other people felt the same way. LeVar Burton was perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. There's been a few. Don't watch this week because Joe Buck is hosting. Awful choice. So, yeah, won't be watching that one.
I like Joe Buck for football, but I hate him for baseball.
Yes, 100%. He's the worst baseball. Yeah. All right, Disney is opening a new animation studio up in Vancouver, and they're already starting to work on their first original series from that studio for Disney+, and that's going to be the Moana project. We had already kind of announced that they were doing a couple of these, but this one is officially getting going now with the opening of this new studio. They said they will also be doing the Tiana show, Baymax's Utopia, as well as others from this studio based out of Vancouver. So, kind of cool.
Wow, nice. Rock and roll.
I'm sorry, like I said, I got news everywhere here, buddy.
It's all good.
LeBron, he's doing more. He's doing a Netflix drama now. He's producing a Netflix drama called Rezball. And this is based on a story about a Native American high school basketball team. And at first I thought, oh, well, is that a documentary? But it said, no, it said that it's a film. So it's going to be like a sports drama movie based on a real-life team, I guess, that's made up of all Native American kind of players. Kind of cool story, though, I guess. So hopefully that hits and it does well. Paramount has renewed, Paramount Plus, whatever you want to call it, South Park. South Park will be around until 2027. They have also ordered 14 films to be done.
Yeah.
Kind of standalone South Park, which is kind of funny. I didn't really see it talked about in the article I read, but they do this now where they'll take a couple of their episodes and just link them together and then kind of like release it as a film. So it's not really like they're producing movies.
Sure.
Because they just did 2 of them recently that were like all about lockdown and COVID stuff or whatever, and they released them as like kind of specials that are more like movies or whatever. But it's basically just a long episode, so it's not like it's any great change in their production quality,
That's your $900 million.
Oh, is it? I didn't even write down the number. Okay.
Yeah, Parker and Stone signed for $900 million and the 14 films, and they'll go to season 30.
I thought they got $500 when they sold it originally, didn't they?
Viacom and Paramount, giving them a new $900 million deal on top of that. Buddy,
That's insane.
listen, I was never a big South Park watcher. Nothing against people that love that show, because I know many do. I had no clue it was still even on. I didn't even know it was still on.
I've actually watched it recently. I've watched a couple episodes recently. So,
Alrighty.
and I loved the movie. I thought the movie was hysterical.
Okay.
So. Netflix. This is interesting. They have a 5-part documentary series coming, directed by Jason Hare, however you pronounce that, the guy who did Lance Dance. And this is it's called Countdown, Inspiration for Mission to Space. And this is covering the SpaceX first civilian mission to space. And it's going to be filmed before and after the launch in mid-September. So they're doing it like real time. It's like a real-time documentary that they're doing.
Cool.
Like 2 episodes before it launches and then while it's up in the air or whatever. So seems kind of risky, and I'm interested that they're getting it done and getting the turnaround of it. Like we're basically just filming it and putting it out. But kind of cool. Just a new form of entertainment we're going to get there. We are getting a 2nd season of The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch wraps up this week, so we are getting another season of that on Disney Plus. I'll have a review next week for you of season 1. Are you still?
I don't know if I'll be caught by then.
Okay.
I'll do my darndest.
Overlook. I was pumped about this. This is the Shining spin-off series coming from J.J. Abrams. Was supposed to go to HBO. They're not going to move forward with it now, they've decided. But there is word that Netflix is looking at picking it up instead. So maybe I still will get my Shining spin-off eventually. We are also getting a Night of the Dead animated movie. Basically, an animated remake of the George Romero version.
Oh.
So it's called Night of the Animated Dead, and it's coming out September 21st, digital release. Some of the voice cast include Dule Hill, Josh Duhamel, Katie Sackhoff. So could be kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like straight shot for shot or what, but it could be fun. Did you see, this is kind of old news, but I wanted to talk about this. Happened like maybe two weeks ago, but there's a YouTuber out there called Shamuk, and he did these deepfake videos. One in particular, after the Mandalorian Season 2 wrapped, he went in and said, I want to fix that. Luke Skywalker didn't look right, whatever. He went in and fixed it, like jazzed it up, made it look better, pushed his own version of it out. The video got like 2 million views, it was a big viral hit, whatever. Okay. ILM contacted him and said, you're hired.
No kidding.
They hired this kid off YouTube to come work for them now because he did such a good job fixing their work. So he's like the senior age advisor or something. They gave him some title to come in and work on that, basically like de-aging. Because a lot of people are saying they'll probably be doing more of that with next season.
Sure.
So maybe they need him, So that's kind of cool. Another kind of older piece of news also is Netflix came out and said they're requiring COVID vaccinations for all their actors on U.S. productions. They're the first studio to do that in the U.S. Okay. So kind of a big move on their part, and not even just the actors. They call it the A-team production staff as well. So anybody who's coming in contact with the actors that are on set, that are doing all that, requiring vaccinations for all that. So I know that's kind of an iffy subject. A lot of people are fighting that and whatever, but it's good on Netflix to step up and do that.
The next news line. Some actor has a Netflix role that they don't get or turn down,
or a production moving maybe to a different country, things like that because of that. You never know. So and then also I forgot to mention when I mentioned the Bad Batch that they also renewed Mighty Ducks as part of that. So Mighty Ducks Game Changers coming back for season 2. We get to see more.
Don't bothers.
Let's go.
More podcast body.
Anything else for you?
Did you see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action being written by the Yost brothers?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew they had announced the movie, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, Angela Bassett has signed on for 911, the TV show. She will be making $450,000 per episode, making her the highest paid black TV actress
ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
At that per ep money, $450 and up.
Okay,
I think it's like a 20 ep deal. So good for her. That's some
nice.
That's great. Like, can I just do one episode?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All I need.
Like that
do half an episode.
Life-changing money, and it's discussed, so whatever. Jungle Cruise 2, heavy rumors. It's happening.
Jungle 2s?
Jungle 2s, yeah, Jungle 2s. It's heavy rumors, not confirmed yet, but even The Rock kind of stoked those flames. It's
really?
coming. We've got some ideas. Yeah.
2 Jungle, 2 Cruise. Okay, we'll see.
The other one is that even heavier rumors, and I want your take on this, Mayor of Easttown, Season 2. Winslet herself said some script ideas are being thrown around currently.
I don't think you should go revisit that. Well, I think it ended just fine. I think you did enough with the story.
My question to you, sir, is it is currently nominated for Best Limited Series for the Emmys.
Yeah, how does that change?
But if it's a season 2, do we take away your nomination because you're no
guess
longer a
I
limited
guess
series?
once it's already nominated, and if that was their original intention, I guess it stays as is.
Could you imagine they wait till like the day after the Emmys and like season 2 coming next year? Woohoo! Oh, we were a limited series then, but
Sure.
that was my first thought. I was like, wait a second, they were nommed as a limited series, but
Yeah.
I mean, see what they could do with it easily. She's the detective; they just give her another case. Big. But I think we've gone down the rabbit hole of meeting those characters. Like, we don't need to go deeper into these guys' kids.
Bring the
he was
boyfriend
divorced.
back or whatever. Maybe.
Sure. It worked great as a limited series.
Yeah,
you know,
it did. Leave it alone.
Okay, that's it for our Hollywood news, folks. We're moving right into DC discussion.
DC. I saw Zolo Maraduena.
I am so glad you took that one.
He is in talks for the Blue Beetle film. He's, I guess,
To
the
play
star.
Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I guess he's one of the stars of Cobra Kai right now, and they did kind of confirm in there that it would be the Jaime Reyes version of Blue Beetle, which I think is like a third Blue Beetle iteration. Yeah, whatever. I'm not big on the Blue Beetle. I don't see this being. I think this has to be like a straight to HBO Max, right? I don't see this being like a big DC property. I don't know. Do you?
No, the only route we're going here is if DC starts owning these standalones, and then like, hey, we'll connect them down the road if you want. But no, it could be a good HBO Maxer, like you just said. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. That was it for DC, though. Did you have other stuff?
Couple of things actually. Did you read the Ayer cut, the David Ayer, his tweets, his response?
No, I saw that. I saw that him and Scorsese was it, or no? That was James Gunn.
That was Gunn.
Oh no, I don't know if I saw this.
Just someone was bashing like Ayer quit and he walked out, whatever, and he's done with it, so there is no Ayer cut. And so then he was like, all right, my turn, and then just went through his litany of his life. Was in jail, troubled kid thing. I'm not going to read it because it's like a 5-page thing or whatever.
Okay.
Folks, if you get a chance, just read it. It does make you emotional. I'm like, okay, I'll watch your movie. And he went nuts. He was like, there are no needle drops in my movies. I didn't put any songs. Like, it's a totally different film. I promise you that. I don't know. I have not been for it, but now after reading that, I was like, all right, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe.
I might have been on the fence about it, but after seeing the new one, no.
Just move on. It's just
time
to
move on. Like, we got a better product, buddy. Sorry.
We got a glimpse at Barry Allen with a different haircut, and the heavy rumor for The Flash is we now know the villain will be Dark Flash.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I guess it's always a Flash villain is always just another speedster.
Another
basically.
speedster. Yeah, that was the first 9 seasons of the TV show, all speedsters. Sure. But it makes sense, though, for the Flashpoint. You know, if it's going to stay true to the comic to a degree, you want the other speedster. So that's the heavy rumor there. Ben Affleck, we reported this last week that we saw his Batman. That was the stunt man. We kind of knew that. But he himself will be on set starting in September.
Yes.
That is confirmed. There was a heavy rumor that Cavill will be on set soon. And they're trying
to
get him back in there. It's heavy rumor right now.
What do you think about that? Cavill, a little bit of a missed opportunity. Could have used him in the Suicide Squad. We reference Deadshot having.
They talk about it, yeah. To that, Elba tweeted, "I would love a film of that happening." He was like, "Let me get Cavill. Let me get in there," and even like tagged Cavill. He's like all about. I mean, these guys are all about it. Here's my thought. Tell me if you're on board. And this will wrap our DC discussion. Let's get Gene Hackman out of retirement. He's 91 years old. Just one scene. Just for this movie. Get Hackman out of retirement. I just want one scene. They go to him. He just drops a greatest criminal mind of all time. And then the Flash moves on. Like, just a quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we talked about it in our Nicole Kidman. Let's get Chase Meridian back, too, you know.
Bring her in. That's right. Take him up.
So you saw the Gene Hackman retirement photo that was kind of going around this week?
Oh, no. Oh, I was only thinking of it because of what we were talking about.
Somebody put a photo up of him that said, he's been retired for 17 years or whatever it is from acting, but he doesn't look good.
Oh, no. Oh, I totally thought of it because of our Kidman talk. Oh, wow.
I was like, no, Gene. We got to do a Gene spotlight coming up soon, too, now.
Cripes. All right, well, I'm trying to put that into the ethos to try and get his Lex Luthor
Let's
in this movie somehow.
Yeah.
All right, DC, we're all done. Let's move on to a quick Marvel Minutes.
Marvel, I only had two things. One, James Gunn was doing some promotion for the Suicide Squad, and he said, "I'm all on board for doing a Ravagers TV show." You
Oh,
know, I kind of peppered them into Guardians, thinking maybe I would get more out of them down the road and do more with them. 100% do it. Disney Plus it. Why not?
yeah, sure.
You
Yeah,
know, he's already got obviously a nice relationship with Sly. He's worked with him a couple times now.
yeah.
Bring him back and Rooker. You know, do something with Yondu. You could do like a prequely Ravagers kind of thing.
Right, right.
Okay, I'd watch that today. So, and then the only other thing for me was rumors so far, but Emily Van Camp appears to be returning for Moon Knight as her character,
Oh, is Agent 13
whatever she
or
is.
Sharon Carter
Yeah.
yeah, Sharon.
What
Yeah,
were they calling her? The power broker or something,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. So her character may be back in the Moon Knight series, which would make sense to kind of continue the through lines and connect to
right,
everything that they're doing. So
right.
not far fetched.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you have anything else from the Marvel world?
Apparently, some high ups are in the mindset of Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars led us down this path where now we have them live action. Through Mandalorian, we've seen now Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan, and so now we're seeing these people in live action. Maybe we're setting things up that the What If series can eventually down the road become a live action series still on Disney Plus.
I would love it. Why not? If you're doing multiverse and stuff, why not?
Sure. I mean, that's a whole nother road of, are you getting RDJ back? Are you getting Chris Evans back? Are you getting ScarJo back? Nope, she's mad at you.
Yeah.
So, but apparently that is the mindset. It's like, if these animated series work so well, maybe we can live action it up down the road. The other
I
one,
would
of
watch
course,
the hell
obviously,
out
is
of a
Black Widow.
Captain Britain with Peggy Carter. I'd watch the hell out of that. So,
Agreed, agreed. The other thing I had with the What If series is that apparently Bozeman does like 4 voices of
yeah.
T'Challa because there's
Mhm.
different versions or whatever. So we're not just going to get his straight up T'Challa. It would be different, which we all know he's a phenomenal actor, and can do it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, wrapping up. Done with the Marvel Minute. Done with our show. Time to go forward.
Going forward this week, sticking with What If, that is dropping this week on Disney Plus. So we will have at least a first reaction to that. Sticking with Disney Plus, I already mentioned we also have the Bad Batch finale this week. So you will have those two things to look forward to us talking about in some manner next week. In theaters this week, kind of busy for theaters. You got Free Guy dropping finally after a
Mm.
long delay. You got Respect, another music biopic that could be Oscar-y, you know.
Huge standing
Um,
ovation for her at the SAG something.
oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Some film festival where there was a lot of SAG members and like huge ovation. So I'm
Gotcha.
high on that film.
That was the No Bra Film Festival then. Ba-dum-tsh. Uh, all right, we're also getting a horror sequel this week, Don't Breathe 2. I like the first Don't Breathe quite a bit. I don't think I'm going to be rushing to the theater to see the sequel, but maybe I'll catch up with it down the road. Same with Free Guy. I don't know if I like need to rush to the theater to see it,
Hmm.
but I wonder if my son would enjoy it. Maybe like one of those kind of things where we could,
Sure.
take him back to the movies. We'll see. Same with Respect. I'm kind of like, okay.
Hmm.
I'll probably eventually get around to it, but I don't know if I need to see it.
Gotcha.
And then the other one is Coda. Coda is kind of an early buzz, like maybe Best Picture nominee, Best
Hmm.
Actors and things like that in there. So that's another Oscar player. We're getting to that time of the year already again, where we're getting
Yeah,
some
we
stuff
are.
that needs to be talked about for award season. So those are all happening. The White Lotus finale is on Sunday of next week. Probably because it's on Sunday, we'll wait and talk about it the following week, though. You know how
Yeah.
we guys do. We probably won't be able to catch up with it, so we'll wait a week on that one. If you like the Kissing Booth movies, Kissing Booth 3, I think it's the final part of that trilogy, is dropping this week on Netflix. I know that has been somewhat popular.
Mm.
We're also getting a new sports documentary series on Netflix. Did you see this?
Mm.
It's called Untold. The first episode drops tomorrow, actually, as we're recording, and it's going to be a weekly sports documentary with 5 episodes, I think.
Mhm.
So the next 5 weeks, we're going to get Untold episodes, and the first one is all about the Mouse in the Palace, baby.
Ooh, fun. Okay, this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've heard of this. Produced by Jermaine O'Neal.
Okay.
I think he's your main
Okay.
producer on this. He was heavily involved in that Malice. So okay.
Nice. So there you go. It's going to be 5 weeks in a row of different sports stories, and that's our first one. We're also getting the Titans season 3 on HBO Max. Now, does that drop all at once when that comes out?
I hope not.
Because I
but
thought I saw someone like a review already of like season 3 review I was like, they got access to the whole thing? Like, that's crazy.
From someone who normally doesn't get pre-access to.
Well, I mean, just even if it is like a reviewer, critic, or whatever, they don't get a whole season in advance. So that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm with you. I'm with
So
you.
we'll see how that drops. I'm not sure, but that's coming to HBO. I might still try and catch up with the last season. I kind of petered out on that one. Uh, Here's some homework for you. Modern Love season 2. You like the Modern Love?
Oh, interesting.
Did you know
Okay.
that's coming back?
Did not.
So season 2 will hit Prime this week on the 12th. As well as the final season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine comes back to NBC this week. And then Beckett, the original film on Netflix with John David Washington, comes out this weekend. So a lot of stuff in going forward. I'm sure we'll have a few of those things to talk about next week in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Holy jumpins. The White Lotus, folks, it actually might be 2 weeks because Tony is off the following week.
Yeah,
And we should
right.
wait to chat about that together. So that actually might be a 2-weeker where you have to wait on that. But we'll make it up to you. We promise. There's plenty of other things to watch. Take-Two podcast-wise, Thursday you get the poll. That drops every single Thursday. Please vote on the poll and get those numbers higher. Share them onto your own. We don't mind whatsoever. Friday, you should be getting a new Patreon episode, and this is kind of like a spotlight Patreon crossover-y type of episode here.
Kind of our first time doing that, really.
Yeah. So this is someone we've had circled almost for 2 years for a spotlight, trying to find a way to fit him in. It is a postpartum spotlight, if you will. The only other hint I would give you guys is that every film this actor was in was nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
That's the easiest hint of all time.
It's an insane Hollywood story that needs to be told. So
Yeah. So then this weekend you have free to do 2 things. One, rating and review. We need one. We would love one. They help our show out. 5-star rating and review. Drop them as soon as you can. And then B, shop some merch, baby. Jump on that TeePublic. Grab yourself a hat. Grab yourself a T-shirt or a mug, what have you. And then, as Tony said earlier, post that online. Post us a picture. Hey, rocking my Take-Two gear. Hashtag TTP. And,
I will also say, if you, as you said earlier, we have some interactive people that don't listen to the show. If you do listen to the show and you aren't already following us on socials, please do that because we're close to some milestone numbers on our Twitter and our Instagram. Let's get there, folks. Add some follows and get into the conversation. Comment along with us. Vote on those polls. Do all that stuff.
See, it was the No Bra Film Festival because they're saggy. I got it now. They sagged.
You got it.
They weren't
They
wearing a
sagged
bra.
a lot. They did. Yeah.
Episode 252. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya.